Before we get into the episode, I am thrilled to announce that the EntreMD Business School is open for enrollment. The EntreMD Business School is the only school of its kind for physicians who want to build 6, 7, and multiple 7-figure businesses. Over the last 2 years, we have had hundreds of doctors go through the school with unbelievable results. Some of them run brands, some of them run private practices, some of them are coaches, some have other kinds of service-based businesses or product-based businesses. And we've had people come in and cross the 6-figure milestone, cross the 7-figure milestone, cross the multiple 7-figure milestone. You will be in a place where you'll get the coaching, the community, the accountability that you need to thrive as an entrepreneur, especially in the times that we're in. So maybe you've been following me for a while. Maybe you've been getting so much out of the EntreMD podcast and you've been wondering, how can I work with Dr. Una and the community more? Well, this is your chance. Come join us in the EntreMD Business School. It is application only. So go to entremd.com/business to turn in your application. I cannot tell you how many doctors have made statements like this. I recovered my investment in the first week. I recovered my investment in my bank account in the first 90 days. This is the best investment I've made in myself ever. I want you to have that kind of story, not just a story of building a great business that serves a lot and earns a lot, but having a business that gives you the freedom to live life on your terms. So don't wait any longer. entremd.com/business. And now for the episode. Hi, docs. Welcome to the EntreMD podcast, where it's all about helping amazing physicians just like you embrace entrepreneurship so you can have the freedom to live life and practice medicine on your terms. I'm your host, Dr. Una. Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of the EntreMD podcast. Now, this is a special episode that is part of the EBS show series. So it's kind of like the inside scoop of what happens in the EntreMD Business School. So Dr. Tamara Beckford is an emergency medicine trained physician, and she is the founder of Your Caring Docs. She's a student, a proud student of the EntreMD Business School, and she is the host of the EBS show. So she interviewed students from the EntreMD Business School to feature their journeys. And she uncovered it all, the good, the bad, the ugly. So whether you're a veteran entrepreneur or all you have is an idea, there is so much to learn. So I want you to lean in. So now let's join them.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Tamara Beckford, and I'm the host of the EBS show. That's right. EBS that you're saying, well, it's the EntreMD Business School, which is the premier business school for physician entrepreneurs, right? So today I get to introduce you to one of my classmates, and she is a wonderful osteopathic physician extraordinaire. This is Dr. Amelia Bueche, who is a founder and program director at Coaching for Institution.
Yeah, this is so fun. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time out. So, we're here really just kind of enlightening all those who are thinking about joining the business school. So we're really kind of giving them an idea, like, this is how life was prior. And so let them know, what was Dr. Amelia Bueche doing prior to joining the business school?
Yeah, absolutely. So prior to the business school, I was in clinical practice, and I had a website that was entitled This Osteopathic Life, and it had all these programs listed on it, but it didn't have any buttons on how you could actually join. So what I like to think about is I was a physician with a dream, with lots of amazing ideas, and not a clear path of how to bring them into reality. I hosted one small function and I didn't charge anyone, which, wouldn't be surprised if people thinking about what it's like before and after being in this school. And it was fantastic. I got to see what it was like to host an event and also realized that wasn't sustainable to have it in that way. And so what I remember is I was at the EntreMD live event, which was virtual in 2020, like many things were. I was actually in my backyard doing a workout while I tuned in, which also might not be surprising to many who know me.
Absolutely.
And I was listening to all the things Dr. Una had to say, and I would stop doing my reps and write things down in my notebook. And a lot of things resonated. I thought, wow, she hears me and she sees me. And she helped me to see that business didn't have to be evil. I had some of these thoughts of, right, like business is corrupt and power corrupts and money corrupts. And I could hear in her voice that it wasn't that way. It didn't have to be that way. And at that moment in time, I was finishing up actually my first ever business mastermind.
Mhm.
And, I had begun to put things into place, into orbit with another physician coach, actually, who Dr. Una really works closely with. And I thought, okay, right, this is happening. I was in my first kind of launch of that program.
Mhm.
And as soon as the doors opened again, so I missed that first door opening. I won't say I missed it, but I chose to complete, the one course I was in.
Mhm.
And that next time I knew as soon as this is available and as soon as I have, wrapped up this current commitment, I'm in, right?
Right.
And I never looked back. And I came because of Dr. Una and that wisdom. And I have stayed because of that and because of my classmates, right? Because of you and all who were in there and the energy and the support that comes with it. And so fast forward to today, I now have that same website, but it has hidden pages that have none of the buttons to click, but it has pages where you can actually click and join a program. And I've run 2 successful cohorts through This Osteopathic Life. And then I've expanded, and just like we've seen, to dream bigger, to coaching for institutions, which takes that program element and makes it accessible on a much larger scale. And so now I work with institutions, have hundreds of physicians going through the programs. I have dozens of physicians coaching with me to lead those programs. And so now that idea is a reality, and there are still lots more ideas. And I know now that I have a pathway to take them from just being a page on a website to being an occurrence that happens for me and for physicians and for non-physicians all across the country and world.
Wow. So here we are, listening to the EntreMD Live, doing my reps, and saying, wow, wait a minute, I actually have to stop this rep and write this down because this is such a powerful thought. And, and then you're realizing that, wow, I'm having to stop my workout and write notes down because I'm getting so much wisdom. And you have a prior commitment. So I'm going to finish this commitment, but I know exactly what I'm going to do as soon as I'm done. I'm going to make sure I enter into that school. So you're going now, you have this website, which is a beautiful website, but you're kind of like, I don't, I've put it out there, but I kind of haven't put it out there because there are no buttons for you to click.
Exactly.
and then you're now running a program that you have gotten hundreds of people, physicians through. And so, and essentially you've scaled something. You went from having a website where I wouldn't allow anyone to click anything to a scaled program.
Yeah.
Like all of this confidence.
Yeah.
Like tell us how it came about, like one step at a time, like what was going through Dr. Beeke's mind?
Yeah. Well, one thing that was really helpful is Dr. Una lays things out in very clear paths, and she gives you a sense of where you are, where you can go. And what was really helpful for me is when we opened up, I saw I was actually farther along than I thought. Right. And so that was encouraging because I began to think, I don't have a business. Right. And the interesting part is I had run a solo private practice. So I actually had a business, and I owned a gym. But we don't often give ourselves credit for those things. Right. We just don't see the skills that we have. And I could just see it. There was a table, right? And I could say, oh, okay, I checked that and I did this. I said, oh, right. I'm like a stage farther along than maybe I even thought. And also there's some room to get clear on my messaging because I knew what I wanted to do, but I wasn't saying it in a way that anyone else could understand. So it was a little bit of both of those, right? It helped me to honor what I already was doing and own it. And then it also said, hey, by the way, right, here's some things you probably should work on. And so it pushed me, right, to strengthen some of those spaces in my skill set. And the other piece is, like I said, the classmates are so powerful. Seeing everyone do things in their own way, right, using kind of this common framework, but bringing their own spin to it was also encouraging because I have some resistance to just following an algorithm. And so I saw, well, this framework, right, in osteopathic medicine, we talk about structure for function, so helpful, but there was also room for me to say, that part doesn't feel right? That doesn't resonate for me. And so actually I'm not going to enter into it that way, but I see the point of it. And here's how I can make it my own. So for me, because I work with institutions, sometimes some of the different marketing on social media doesn't make a lot of sense because that's not where my audience was, but it gave me the room to see how to hone in on my messaging and then to decide how I wanted to bring that forward in a way that really felt right for me.
So would you say your confidence grew since you joined the school?
Absolutely. I think it's for those reasons, right? Being able to have reflected back to me the success I was already having, to see the potential, to get the feedback directly, right, from Dr. Una, from my classmates, and then to be challenged all the time to just keep speaking it. And in some ways, you can't help but grow confidence if you keep showing up places, because you can show up scared or you can show up confident, because you're still going to show up, right? So you might as well start picking showing up confident eventually. And showing up scared is okay too, right? Showing up scared and doing it anyway, that's an option. But over time, it's like, well, I'm here, right? And I'm doing this thing and I've seen my successes and I've seen the successes of these other people. So I am just going to show up and own it. And not in an arrogant way. I want to caution that because so many times when I work with physicians and coach them, they hear confidence and they think arrogance, right? And there are two different things. It's just saying, I know what I know. I know what I don't know, right? I know where I'm working. I know where I'm growing, and I'm going to own all of it and be here because that's the best way I can serve the people who need this work in the programs I have to offer.
What would you say now when I should actually say, not even what, when you took that time to really write down all that you have done within this past year, how did you feel?
Yeah, a little disbelief, right? Because sometimes we just do it and it seems like, well, this is just our job. This is the work we're doing. So we don't own that. And I see it so much with the physicians with whom I work. But they say, oh no, like that's just, all in a day's work. And to be able to sit down and say, no, actually, right, that's pretty amazing. And really to see the impact. And for me, one of the key pieces of the institutions are backing these programs and supporting the physicians. And that was so important to me. And, to be able to say that I held on, right? I held true to that core value and vision until it came to fruition, that piece. So, I felt proud of myself in that moment. And I felt hopeful, right, for what this could mean for the practice of medicine. Bringing health to medicine is really the mission of coaching for institutions. And I felt encouraged, by what had happened, seeing it all written on paper from the little to the big goals, right? From all of those small pieces, even just, one person at a time and then 100 people at a time going through to see that all of that matters and has value. And I got to be part of it. It was pretty awesome.
And it was fascinating to that something you envisioned. You weren't able to really articulate it as well, but you envisioned it. And then you got to a point where you entered into the program, into the school, and then you're able to articulate. And then you put the vision into motion. And then now it's here.
Yeah.
Momentum
is going. Yeah.
And you're serving others, which is what the whole point was. And to really, so what are some of the things that people are saying once they leave this program? And then how does that make you feel?
Yeah, they talk about being hopeful, right? Believing that change is possible, seeing that they have control and can have some relief, even in that acute moment, because we know system change can take time, that they can see a difference even early on. And some of the greatest pieces are when they call out or they contact me to say, hey, this has been great for me. And now I want the same for my family who might not even be in the practice of medicine. So they're able to see the way this is improving their health and they want to bring it to the people they love. And for me, even right now, I kind of get goosebumps from that because it says to me, it's that meaningful to them that they want to share it with their colleagues, yes, with their patients, yes, but also with the people nearest and dearest to them. And that's really powerful because for me, I'm absolutely dedicated to bringing health to medicine, but that's also bringing health to the world. And we're supposed to talk specifically to people, right? You'll get that in the business school. And at the same time, we do see that there is this ripple effect. So even when you do focus and talk to your people, when it's true and real and it's your vision and your values and it's resonating, it can't help, right, but reverberate on a wider scale. And so that is so powerful to me. And I don't necessarily take up the work directly to work with their family, but I can be part of helping them make that connection and even know that it's a choice. It's something they can offer to someone close to them. That's been the most amazing part of this past year.
Absolutely. All from a vision. To be able to do all that. And you said that you're working with these people and then they want you to work with the people closest to them. So they are now entrusting all of this to you. And this all came from your vision. You joined the school, you put together, and as you said, there's a framework there, right? But you used it to work with you.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's not cookie cutter. It's a framework and you use it to work with you. So now there's some people there that, are watching and they're like, wow, oh my goodness. Sounds interesting, but I'm not sure, is this for me? What would you say to those people?
Yeah. It's so interesting to me because like I said, and like, Dr. Una tells us to be specific, right? And get clear and talk to our people. But at the same time, the business school is so widely applicable because it is focused on helping you, right, live the life that you want. So it can be tailored to your needs. And so it's great for the person who loves, right, following all the steps and doing them all. I can think, right, you can probably think of classmates who are so great with that. And that gets them amazing results. And it can get them amazing results in a coaching program. It can get them amazing results in a private practice or a real estate development syndication land. And at the same time, it's great for people who say, I'm not so sure like me, who might be a little more resistant to all the steps and wanting to be a little more creative, perhaps, and out of the box with that. But it can also work because there's support within the structure and there is accountability. So there are people who are going to say, hey, we haven't seen you in a while. And how's this going? And asking you out of love, right? Tell me more about this program and what's getting in your way. So it can work for both ends of that spectrum and all the places in between. So if you're someone who needs A to Z, right, it's there for you. You can follow these steps. If you're someone who needs more space, that's possible for you as well. And I would say any idea that you want to nurture, right, you can bring it here. It's an incubator space, right? It is a safe space and you can bring it forward and you might find that a new idea is birthed in that space too. And that's totally possible, right? You come with one idea and you get there and you realize, oh, actually this, right, is where I really want to go. And that's possible too. For me, it was just a bit of reframing. I kind of repurposed and refaced, rebranded myself while in the business school. And it made a lot of sense, right? It helped me to see how I could connect to the audience on a clearer scale. And so I would say that flexibility of the program is its greatest benefit.
Wow. The flexibility to do it at your own pace, to have the safe space, to bounce ideas off your classmates who are all rooting for you. You know, everyone wants to see you win. And also the ability to really work out what it is that you truly want to do. You said, like you said, you might step in with one thought, but then realize that you have another skill set and start to nurture that. But you have all that ability and you have all this platform to do it in a community that's safe and supportive. Alrighty.
I want to offer that really quick, that oftentimes business is seen as cutthroat, right? And competitive. And it really isn't that way in the business school, even in what we might see as overlapping or even competing industries, that people really do want the best for one another. But it's also not an automatic yes space, right? So people will challenge you. They will say, are you sure about that? Or how about this? Or when I hear that, here's maybe a challenge I might see. And that's the best part of it. It's real, meaningful, thoughtful, caring feedback.
Absolutely. That's true. If you ask, you will receive. And then the thing is too, that the community is so supportive that you're going to get true feedback, right?
Exactly.
Things to help to really improve your business. And you're going to get it. And the help is always there.
Yeah.
It's kind of 24/7 too.
Totally. I know.
24/7, always there. So for those who are thinking of joining the business school, hey, you heard it here from Dr. Beeke. She went from thinking about her business, having an inclination, to listening to the EntreMD Live, stopping her workout to write down important notes, and then joining and putting it into fruition, getting one patient, or I should say client through, two clients through, to now hundreds of clients, all in the matter of 1 year. 1 year.
Amazing.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for really pouring out into those who are thinking about joining. I think it's a no-brainer at this point. If you want this support, and I think Dr. Beeke agrees, right?
Absolutely. Be happy to have you.
Absolutely.
With open arms.
So come and join us, and we'll see you guys at the business school. Take care. See you next time.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope this inspires you to take even bigger steps as an entrepreneur. And if you're ready to go all in, come join us in the EntreMD Business School. It is the only school of its kind created just for you. And I'll see you, my friend, on the next episode.